Jodie Grenier, CEO of Foundation for Women Warriors.
So can you tell me about the Foundation for Women Warriors?
So, Foundation for Women Warriors is a 103-year-old nonprofit organization. We exist to serve women veterans and their children, so their next mission is clear and continues to impact the world. We first started off as a housing association for widows, war nurses, and mothers of fallen service members way back in 1920. And at that time, we provided housing to women who were not financially stable to attain and maintain housing for themselves. Over the years, as women's roles change, we address more and more the issues that impact women veterans. And we address those by creating, instead of a housing association, we have a program that enhances both personal and financial well-being through emergency financial stipends, childcare assistance. We also have a warehouse that provides critical goods. And then we have a personal and professional development segment to our organization.
What inspired you to be a part of this organization?
Yeah, so I myself served in the Marine Corps from 2000 to 2005. My sister also served in the Air Force. She's 8 years my junior. And I also have an aunt that served in the Navy. For years, after I transitioned out of the military, I felt like I didn't necessarily have a community. And later I realized it was because I served with so few women. And a lot of the organizations that serve veterans were primarily focused on the majority of the population being men, that I myself was lacking a natural or organic support network of women who understood what it was like to serve. And so after I transitioned out of the military, I worked for the government for a number of years, and I started to find myself inching more and more closer to a profession or a career in the nonprofit sector. And it just married up very well. I had worked with a nonprofit, and I knew I wanted to continue to have an impact within the veteran community. And I found this organization on LinkedIn, and the rest is history.
So how did you get involved with the Marines?
So when I was in high school, I had decided that I wasn't going to take what has become the stereotypical path of progression following high school. And I knew that I wanted to join the military. The Marine Corps seemed the most appealing to me, the most challenging. I really decided on a culture versus a job. When I was in high school, I was a certified nursing assistant, and I thought my natural next step would be to be a nurse. The Marine Corps did not have a nursing option. That was only available in the other branches. And so I was faced with making a decision that would impact the rest of my life. Little did I know at that time. And so it was the camaraderie, the esprit de corps, the physical fitness aspects of the Marine Corps, all of those things that posed a significant challenge interpersonally and externally really attracted me to the Marine Corps. And so I went through the job options that they had, and intelligence seemed to be the most appealing or attractive to me. I selected that option, and luckily I was accepted. And so therefore I went into the Marine Corps about 4 days after I graduated high school. Even though I had signed a year prior, it was 4 days after I graduated that I shipped off to boot camp.
And with the foundation, how is it to have a strong female support system?
So our work to provide a strong woman support network is wonderful, because it was it's wonderful personally, but also to observe the impact that it has on the women's lives that we serve. I think if you are ever in a position to help mitigate some challenges or pain that you yourself have experienced for others, then you are really living your purpose. And so each and every day that I wake up to work to move our organization forward and advance our mission, I know that with each woman that we help, I am in some ways imparting upon them an opportunity that was not provided to me. When you feel like you are seen and heard and understood, those intangibles, that support system, emotionally, professionally, personally, can really change someone's trajectory. And in the opposite direction, when you feel like no one understands you and you don't have anyone to relate to and you don't have a support network, that can be devastating in someone's trajectory. So the fact that we are providing not only enriching services that help women attain financial stability, but also a support network so that they feel encouraged to take risks and to invest in themselves and to think bigger and bolder. And that is something that no matter what kind of metrics or data we collect is almost you can't quantify, except for maybe looking at someone's success trajectory and where they end up.
And with your organization, you do help a lot of people, especially going through transitions back to civilian life and everything. And I've talked to a lot of veterans, they talk about the challenges. So for you, what were some of the challenges you faced with your transition?
I faced some challenges, mainly in part. Well, one, I went in right after high school, so I did not attain a degree while I was in the military, and that was a challenge. I had to go back to school, and I had to go back to school at 23 years old, where most college students are 18. At that point, I had already deployed to Iraq twice, once during the initial invasion, and then the second time I had spent a year there. So I had gone to combat and war twice, and then came back to a community that didn't even recognize my service as a veteran, or recognize the contributions that I made in the military simply because I was a woman. There was this stereotype that maybe I was a secretary or I didn't contribute on par with my male counterparts, which was, solely false. I think also not having a support network, not having that natural, whether it was a brotherhood or sisterhood around me of folks that understood my experience was also a challenge at times. One of the challenges I didn't face was I was single and I did not have a family. And a lot of the women we serve do have children or they have families to take care of. So I would say that, worked in my benefit that I could take much more measured risks. So, I think not having a college degree, not being able to accurately describe how I was effective in the military, at least initially, to employers, and then having to go back to school and not having anyone with the same experience as me to lean on was a challenge.
A lot of things I talk about is mental health, and because I live with bipolar disorder too, so it's important to me to talk about it. With the organization, how important is it to talk about mental health?
So we really primarily focus on the economic and personal well-being, and we work with very professional organizations that have an immense amount of expertise in mental health. And so the things that we do to focus on that personal well-being piece is we offer sessions on mindfulness and meditation and self-compassion and self-advocacy. So if someone is needing a bit more, than attaining these tools for self-actualization, we work with organizations like the Cohen Clinic. We work with VA. We also work with Headstrong and Women Veterans on Point that are well versed in all all aspects of mental health. And so we become a huge resource for women veterans that might be struggling, and we offer them a plethora of resources in which they can decide work best for them.
What are some of the things that motivate you?
Oh, that's a great question. I think mitigating pain for other people that I experience is a huge motivator. I think also what motivates me is not subscribing to the idea that where you came from predicts where you can go. And that is something that drives me, and it motivates me, and I hope that I'm able to impart that motivation on others, that despite maybe some circumstances out of your control, the things that you can control can help you excel, level up, and really create success on your own terms.
Where do you want to see the organization in the next 3 to 5 years?
Hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years, we have been able to educate stakeholders and the public on not only the issues and challenges that women veterans face, but also the achievements and the accomplishments, and that we are able to bring a much larger society along in investing in our mission, so that way we can provide services to all women veterans throughout the country that need us. Currently, we have programs that provide professional development and economic well-being sessions nationally. And then we have regional programs that provide that financial assistance, stipends for housing and childcare. But to take those financial assistance programs and make them available nationwide would be super impactful to the community at large, as well as our organization. And that will hopefully just come along as we're able to be successful advocates in educating corporations and community foundations about what an incredible investment it is to make in women veterans. I don't know of a community more giving of themselves. And so with every veteran we serve, they immediately turn around and ask or tell us that, when I'm back on my feet or in a better position, I'm going to help the organization. And we've seen so many do that. And these are folks that have already given so much to our country.
Yeah, how does it feel for you to be making a difference in these families' lives?
It feels nice, but I also am not someone who rests on our laurels. The one family helped is amazing. However, we know that there's so many more, and so that also drives me to know that for each person we help, we've now also imparted on them, hopefully, a passion to continue to help those around them, and that has a ripple effect. But I also know that the problems are much larger than what we see in our own communities, and so the work is never done. But luckily, we have an amazing team that is so talented and committed to our women veteran community that we don't lose our energy for fulfilling our mission.